You know what, folks? For the longest time, I was convinced my story was a full-blown tragedy. Classic heartbreak material. But then, as the years went by and the dust settled, I had a change of heart. Now looking back, it feels more like a farce. One of those ridiculous tales you could turn into a movie, no less. Anyway, no sense in dragging this out. Let me tell you how it all went down. It was sometime in the late 90s. Back then, the company I worked for still had all sorts of health perks for employees. Sanatorium stays, medical retreats, vouchers to wellness resorts, you name it. But my wife and I, we were still young and barely paid attention to those kinds of things. That is, until she was diagnosed with a duodenal ulcer. First came the hospital treatment, and then they suggested she head off to the waters for recovery. You know, one of those therapeutic retreats to help her bounce back. She clung to the doorframe like a cat avoiding a bath, poor thing, and flat out refused to go. "I can't go without you," she said, all wide-eyed and trembling. And me? Hopelessly smitten, head over heels, I started trying to talk her into it. I told her it was for her own good, that the time would fly and she'd be home before she even missed me. "It's not like you're heading to some beach resort," I said. "It's just a sanatorium, more hospital than holiday." "Yeah, right." Looking back, I see now she was just sharpening her claws. But back then, I bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Just before she left, I cracked a half-joking line. "Oksana, just don't go having some holiday fling while you're there, okay?" She gave me this look, all dramatic and innocent, like a teenager about to flunk a pop quiz. "Oh, come on, really?" she said, rolling her eyes. "No way, I'd never." Well, so she said. So she left. While she was gone, I could only call her once every 3 days or so, and each time the conversation boiled down to the same broken record. "Ugh, how boring it is here. The prices for everything are too high," and the like. Then she returned, radiant. Her face fresh, her eyes sparkling, as if she had found a secret fountain of youth. But in bed, let's just say that the situation had improved, markedly, in an even more frosty version. At the time, I attributed it to her state of health, thinking that maybe it was due to medication or part of the recovery process. People need time to recover, right? Anyway, life rolled on as it tends to. Time passed. And one day, out of the blue, we were offered another health retreat, this time as a couple, to that very same sanatorium. Why not, I thought. Sounded perfect. A chance to unwind, breathe a little, maybe even mend whatever invisible cracks had formed. I was actually excited. We'd take care of our bodies and spend some real time together. So we arrive, and from the moment we step onto the grounds, my wife starts gliding around like a house cat, let loose in an old backyard she used to rule. She knew the place, every turn, every bench. Ah, nostalgia, I told myself. Harmless. We made our way to the pump room, where folks were milling about, sipping their mineral water and chatting in relaxed tones. We're taking it all in, getting the lay of the land. Then I spot them. Those classic resort photographers with their giant display boards plastered with snapshots of smiling vacationers. Nothing unusual until I noticed one photo. There she was, my Oksana, right smack in the middle of the board, looking like she'd stepped straight out of a glossy lifestyle magazine. Eyes lit up like Christmas morning, leaning into a kiss with some guy straight out of a cologne ad. And this wasn't just a friendly peck. No, this was full-on romance. His hands wrapped around her waist, her face tilted with that dreamy expression I hadn't seen in a long while. The surrounding photos? Harmless stuff. People holding mugs of mineral water, sun hats, deck chairs. But this one? This was different. This one could hang in a gallery under the title, Tenderness. I stood there frozen, and so did she. She caught sight of the photo and turned pale. Treatment room pill pale. Everything in her body language screamed what her lips didn't dare say. "Oh God, I've been found out." I won't walk you through the whole blow-up back in the room. You can imagine how that went. But I'll say this. First, my wife tried to stammer something like, "That can't be right. Must be a mistake." But then switched gears in a flash and went full defensive. "It's not what you think," she insisted, of course. Classic. Then came the truth. Slowly, hesitantly, but it came. Turned out that while I was stuck at work, stressing over her recovery, my darling was playing house with some slick out-of-towner. Divorced too, so the guy had no reason to hide. And when the resort photographer came around offering to snap a souvenir, he jumped at the chance. Hey, a nice memento for his little getaway. When the time came to pick up the photo, my wife suddenly wanted no part of it. "Nah, I don't need it," she said. But the guy didn't want to toss a good print. "Come on, just pay for it. It's a shame to throw it out." She refused, and that little moment of thrift ended up costing her dearly. What did he do? Slapped it right up on the public display board. Boom. A full-color monument to betrayal. And a year later, there it was, waiting for me like some cruel punchline. What more is there to say? Naturally, we got divorced. Pretty quick, too. But honestly, by the time I was signing the papers, I wasn't even angry anymore. The whole thing had crossed over into the absurd. When someone stabs you in the back in such a ridiculous, cartoonish way, the rage fizzles out. All that's left is a dry, tired chuckle. So yeah, guys, if there's a lesson here, it's not complicated. Don't send your wives alone to the sanatorium. But if you've already packed them off, maybe ask for a daily report. Or at the very least, flip through the souvenir photo display. You never know what you'll Cheating Secrets podcast like me